Welcome to this screencast on Rails deployment. I'll show you how easy it is to deploy Rails app using Rails machine. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is secure the server. So I'll SSH into the box this value of the name of the actual machine and the passwords are sent in the welcome email. And it will prompt you for the password, which will be in the welcome email. So you provide that password, and I'm on the machine right now. First thing I'm going to do is change the password of the user called Bala. So there will be deploy and one user with your name and then root. There are three users: deploy users for deploy purposes. Root user has privileges of admins. You can do a lot of stuff. So let's change the password for my user. It will prompt me for the current password, which is the same password as the one you get in the email. You enter that and you provide a new password. So I have a new password. Then you can do I'm looking at the I'm going to look at the root password for this account and log in as root using this password and then change that password to something new. So now I'm logged in as root, switch the user as root. I'm going to change the password for the root. Provide the new Unix password for root. And the password for the root has been changed. I'm just copying that root password since I'll need it for setting up the MySQL password later on when I log in as a root user of MySQL. Now I'm going to change the password of deploy user. And provide the new password for deploy user. That's also changed. And pwcon is a security measure. They can read about this Unix command, what it does. I'll run that command and that's done. Now I'll log into the MySQL as root. Now I'm in MySQL. I'm going to set the password equals password something new. Since this is a password, I need to set it. I'm going to hide this and execute this command. That password is set. The next is I'll be doing a grant all privileges on. Star to deploy at localhost identified by something along these lines. By has some password here with grant option. I'm going to specify a new password for this, replace this. So I'll be hiding this also while I execute. I'm setting up this server for the first time. Okay, that command is executed. Now I can quit out of the terminal, exit, and I will remove the root.txt which contained the old root password, and then I log out of the machine. Okay, now the server has been secured. Next step is using SSH keys. What you need to do is generate some SSH keys which will allow you to log into the remote server really fast and secure instead of typing in password all the time. So we have to set up the key, and we'll use the SSH keygen command to do this. This should be executed on the local machine, not on the remote server. We'll copy the generated keys over to the remote server once we generate these keys locally. -c, and let me just give some email like this. I had already generated this to set up 2 more servers. I'll just overwrite them just to walk you through the steps. And then you provide the passphrase for this key, and you need to remember what this thing is. It will prompt you later when you have to execute other commands. I will show them what it is. Hang on. So next is we will create a directory on the remote server where we will copy these keys. So that will be SSH, the deploy at, and the machine name. And then here comes the command mkdir. This command will get executed on the remote machine. Create this .ssh directory, and then do a chmod 700 on that directory that we just created. Now the deploy user needs, you need to enter the password in order to execute that command. So I enter the password. Okay, it already exists, so that's fine. Now let's just copy using SCP. That'll do a secure copy, so nobody can steal the actual keys that we send across the wire. Then we'll provide where the directory and the name of the file where this thing is going to get copied over. Provide the deploy user's password, and that gets copied over. And one more thing is we are going to SSH using the deploy user at that server name, and then run this command chmod 600 for the file we just copied over. SSH authorized keys. So this will prompt you for the password. This is the same password that you used when you created the keys, when you used SSH keygen and he had provided the password. You need to copy that thing over here. Okay. Okay, and that's done. Now we have created and deployed SSH key pair using the keys we have just created with the SSH agent. We can deploy the apps easily with Capistrano. Okay, now to safely use the SSH keys we just created, we must have SSH agent in this shell session. Okay, if you are on Mac, we can just do a eval SSH dash agent. Okay, now this agent is running. And the final step in the SSH stuff is to add the key to the agent using SSH add command. So we just run SSH add and then enter. This is the same thing that when we created the passphrase, whatever you entered, you need to enter it here, and the identity is added. Now you can have super fast logins. You'll see this in action soon. So let's get started. I have in the local, I have a external disk, and I have this project that I would like to deploy. This is the same as the authorize.net active merchant Rails project that you saw in the previous episode. So let's just deploy it. Okay, what you need to do is the first thing is on the local machine you need to do sudo gem install Rails machine, and I already have this thing installed since I have other accounts. So if I do a gem list Rails machine, you'll see I have a Rails machine 1 data installed, and I also have termios list termios 0.94. This will not show the password when you're typing in a password during deployment. So your passwords are safe in the sense nobody can see what it is. And since we already have a Rails project, we don't have to create anything new. Okay, now I want to specify the production database passwords, and I cannot show this since I'm actually using it. You basically have this section is to specify the actual username and password for the production. Okay, so what I will do is I will provide a password. I'm providing just a I'm creating any, you can provide any username and password, and the Rails machine gem, when you're executing some of the commands, it will show you, it will automatically create this user is specifying the database.yaml for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'll just specify the username that I want and the password that I want. I'll save this and quit. Okay, now I have set up the password for production. I can do a Capify. I'm in the root of the project. Now I can run Capify. Okay, one more thing before you can do all this, you also need to make sure you have Capistrano installed on your machine. I have 2.0 as well as 2.2 installed. So now I can run Capify, the current project. Current Capistrano is, it's Capified. Since I have Rails machine gem, I can do a Rails machine apply to current directory. Name of my app is OAC, and then you need to provide the domain. This domain is, in this case, is this. If it prompts, okay, I'll just copy over this Rails machine. Name, okay. The problem is in the syntax. Minus minus, I have to say name, and then the name of my app is OAC. And if it prompts you to overwrite the deploy.rb, you have to say yes, overwrite it. So one of the things you would do is once you get a domain name, you have to specify this machine name or the IP address that the Rails machine provides. You need, that's pointing to this name actually. What you need to do is you need to have the IP address they provided, and go to the, if you have GoDaddy, go to the control panel, go to the name servers, and then specify this IP address. You need to, or DNS Made Easy also makes it easier. Made Easy allows you to specify the IP address and then the whatever domain name.com. So you'll associate the host name to that IP address, and you'll be able to access your new site using your domain name instead of using this host name to access your Rails app. Okay. Okay, let's set up the subversion. Before subversion, let's just make sure we can access once we deploy using the host name. I think we should be able to do that. Okay, let's move on to setting up the repository. So there is a task you can use, cap repos setup from the root of the project. What it does is this creates an SVN repository on the server. It imports our application and checks out a working copy into a directory called your app underscore machine, your app name underscore machine, and we have to work from this new checked out directory, app name underscore, in this case OAC underscore machine. That's fine. Let's see if this thing created OAC machine. Okay, since it's thinking, hang on, let's see. Since I'm using external hard drive, this seems to be having issues. Okay, ls. Okay, it went to this OAC machine is here. That's fine. cd OAC machine and cd to trunk. Ls. Here is the new checked out Rails project, and here is the SVN info. Okay, now once we are in this directory, we can execute the next step, which is setting up the servers, Mongrels cluster. All you have to do is do a cap servers setup. Enter database password for deploy. Thing is prompting me for the root password. Maybe it's a deploy password, sorry. Since the deploy account is created for the Capistrano tasks to run, I need to enter the deploy password, not the root password. So that's done. And then we'll do a checkout code, symlink, and start Mongrel cluster. So do a cap, deploy, and then code. enter the password for deploy user. Okay, as you can see, okay, cool. As you can see, it has also run the migrations for us. So let's open up the browser and see if we can go to this server, newly created server, with the Rails app deployed on it. Okay, I want to go to customers / new. There it is. Voila. Okay, we successfully deployed the server, and this is the first time I'm sitting in for this. And that's all there is to it. And if you enjoyed this screencast, please recommend me on working with us. Thank you.